talk about those US-China trade talks underway today and tomorrow in Shanghai. But boy, oh boy, President Trump, in the past couple of hours, he's been a busy boy on Twitter. In one of the tweets, he wrote, "China just doesn't come through and should wait to see if a Democrat gets elected to the White House in the 2020 election." Let's get more. Adam Rack is Senior Vice President at the consultancy firm Potomac and joins us. Adam, good to have you in the studio. He's got a lot of tweets. Let's start with this one, the one I was just mentioned about waiting for a Democrat. But in the last couple of weeks, experts have been getting the sense that maybe both sides, both presidents, are waiting for the US presidential elections next year.
I think the politics are really going to play a lot in the next 12 to 18 months as we really, even the next 6 months, if nothing happens, we'll start getting down to a smaller number of Democratic candidates. We'll see what's going to happen, what posturing is. And so I think it's all going to get to election politics once we hit the end of the year. We've got Democratic debates starting tonight and tomorrow with 20 candidates. So we've got this giant field with 4 or 5 sort of top people. And hopefully we'll see some questions on CNN. On the next debates coming up, and the trade talks will give us a little sense of where some of the Democratic candidates are moving into this.
Because it's interesting. You wonder if President Xi Jinping could be playing a bit of a poker game. Obviously, it'd be ideal for him, for a Democrat to get in, and then we could get rid of all of this. But if President Trump gets back in and he's even tweeted, he said, when and if I will win, the deal they will get will be much tougher than what we're trying to negotiate now. And that could be very true, couldn't it?
That could be very true. I think they're both playing a game of chicken, posturing one way or the other, because if President Trump does win again, I think we're looking for a really hard-line approach from the U.S. Versus potentially a softer approach in the U.S. If the Democrats win.
And he's also, again, as I said, there was a lot of tweets on the economics. He says China's lost 5 million jobs and 2 million manufacturing jobs due to the Trump tariffs. Trump got China back on its heels and the United States is doing great. But let's be frank, I've seen numbers. I mean, there is evidence that the trade war is having an impact, not a good one, on the U.S. economy.
Right. I think you're seeing the market, globally market, slow a lot, China in particular. But if you look at the U.S. market, it's still beating expectations from the last quarter.
That's true.
So we're still growing, and I think that's another piece to look at. As long as both markets are still growing, are they both going to dig in their feet, dig their heels in until we edge towards recession?
But you're having to subsidize your farmers, though, in the U.S., aren't you? Or the Trump administration.
Right. So that gives the farmers a little more comfort and support as this goes on.
But sorry to interrupt, but you're subsidizing them because they're hurting, aren't they?
Because they're hurting, absolutely. Okay. And I think they're also we've got other issues going on, some of the farmers, in terms of some of the wet weather and other things that are affecting crops. As well, but the market itself is absolutely taking an impact.
Sure. So, I was just mentioning Huawei, right? So they came out with these numbers today, but they did say difficult times ahead, perhaps not surprising. How much of a hot topic, will Huawei be on that table in Shanghai today and tomorrow?
Oh, I think it's going to be a big topic, because I do think, while the numbers were good for Huawei this last 6-month period, the ban didn't really go into effect until May. So I think the next 3 to 6 months we'll see what kind of effect that has. And I think it's going to be a big topic. The U.S. tech industry is obviously lobbying hard to get some waivers, and we'll see maybe some of that happening. But I think the defense hawks on the congressional side are going to be pushing at least to keep 5G and other things off the table as that moves forward.
Okay. I've got to wrap it up. You got high hopes for a deal in these?
I do not have high hopes for this week.
Adam Rack, thank you so much for joining us. I wonder what the Morse Boulevard gang thought of that.